Jai Shri Ram, let us begin the recitals for this evening with the preliminary purificatory mantras. Sprinkle water around yourselves. Om Pavitraha Pavitro Va Sarvavasthangato Piva Yah Smaret Pundari Kaksham Sabhahyabhyantaraha Shuchiha. You're going to sip water 3 times, once with each mantra. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Rinse your hands. Om Rishikeshaya Namaha. Om Govindaya Namaha. Om Madhusudanaya Namaha. Put on a kus ring on your right hand ring finger. Om Pavitresto Vaishnavyo Saviturvaha Prasva Utpunam Yachidrena Pavitrena Surya Rashmibhi Tasyate Pavitra Pate Pavitra Putasya Yatta Kamaha Pune Tatyakeyam. Apply a chandan dot on your forehead. Om Chandanam Bandhate Nityam Pavitram Papanashanam Apadam Harate Nityam Lakshmir Vasatu Sarvada. Light your lamp. Om Bodhipa Tum Brahma Rupa Andhakara Nivaraka Imamaya Katang Puja Grihaste Jo Pravardhaya. Om Deepaya Namaha. Sprinkle water around yourselves. Om Prithvi Tvaya Loka Devi Tvam Vishnu Nadrita Tvam Cha Dharya Mam Devi Pavitram Kuru Chasanam. Put your palms together as we are going to now read or do mantras, invocations to Shri Ganesh Gauri, to Kalash, Navagraha, and Shri Sitaram. Let us concentrate on them and invoke their blessings. Om He He Rambha Tume Yehi Ambika Triambakatmaja Siddhi Buddhi Pate Triyaksha Laksha Labha Pitu Pitah Nagasya Nagaharatvam Ganaraja Chaturbhuja Bhushita Swayudhe Divye Pashankusha Parashwadhe Avahayami Pujartham Rakshartham Cha Mama Krataho Yagatya Grihanatvam Pujan Kratuncha Rakshame Om Ambe Yambike Yambalike Namaniti Kaschana Rasasya Swaka Shubhadrikam Kampi Lavasini Om Bhurvasva Ambikaye Namaha Om Tattva Yami Brahmana Vandam Anastu Shaste Yajmano Havira Bhihi Mahedamano Varuna Buddhirsha Gongsamana Ayuhu Pramoshihi Om Brahma Murari Tripurantakari Bhanu Shashi Bhumi Suto Budhascha Guruscha Shukra Shani Rahu Ketava Sarve Graha Shanti Kara Bhavantu Om Dhyayet Ajana Bahum Dhritasharadhanusham Padha Padmasanastam Pitam Vasovasanam Navakamala Spardhi Netram Prasannam Vamam Karuda Sita Mukha Kamala Milalochanam Niradhabam Nana Alankar Diptam Tatatamaru Jata Mandalam Ramachandram Holy Om Sitaram Pavan Sutta Hanuman Radhe Krishna Ki Jai. We will now have one bhajan, and when we return, we will do the invocation mantras for Ramayan, followed by the Ramayan Aarti. But now we will listen to a bhajan.
मेरे सरकार आए हैं, मेरे सरकार आए हैं। लगे कुटिया भी दुल्हन सी, लगे कुटिया भी दुल्हन सी, अवध में राम आए हैं। पखारो इनकी चरणों को, बहाकर प्रेम की गंगा। पखारो इनकी चरणों को, बहाकर प्रेम की गंगा। बहाकर प्रेम की गंगा, बिछा दो अपनी पलकों को, बिछा दो अपनी पलकों को, अवध में राम आए हैं। सजा दो घर को गुलशन सा, मेरे सरकार आए। तुम आकर फिर नहीं जाना मेरे इस सुनी दुनिया से। तुम आकर फिर नहीं जाना मेरे इस सुनी दुनिया से। तुम आकर फिर नहीं जाना मेरे इस सुनी दुनिया से। सोनी दुनिया से कहूँ हरदम यही सबसे, कहूँ हरदम यही सबसे, मेरे सरकार आए हैं। सजा दो घर को गुलशन सा, मेरे सरकार आए। मेरे सरकार आए हैं, मेरे सरकार आए हैं। लगे कुटिया भी दुल्हन सी, लगे कुटिया दुल्हन सी अवध में राम आए हैं। मेरे सरकार आए हैं।
We'll do the Ramayan invocation. जय ही सुमिरत सिद्धि होय सीताराम, गणनायक करिवर बदन, करो अनुग्रह सोय सीताराम, बुद्धि राशि शुभ गुण सदन, मूक होई वाचाल सीताराम, पंगु चरहि गिरिवर गहन, जासु कृपा सुदयाल सीताराम, प्रभु सकल कलिमल दहन, नील सरोरुह श्याम सीताराम, करुण अरुण बारिज नयन, करोहु सुमम उर धाम सीताराम, सदा क्षीर सागर शयन, कुंद इंदु समदेह सीताराम, उमार मन करुणा अयन, जाहि दीन परनेह सीताराम, करहु कृपा मर्दन मयन, वंदो गुरुपद कंज सीताराम, कृपा सिंधु नर रूप हरि, महामोहतम पुंज सीताराम, जासु वचन रवि कर निकर, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय। कथा आरंभ होता है, सुनो वीर हनुमान, आसन को प्रभु आइए, सिया सखा सहित भगवान सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय। We'll have the Ramayan Aarti now.
श्री रामायण जी की।
चार युवेद पुराण अष्टदश,
चार युवेद पुराण अष्टदश,
छहो शास्त्र सब ग्रंथ को रस,
छहो शास्त्र सब ग्रंथ को रस,
तन मन धन संतन सर्वस,
तन मन धन संतन सर्वस,
सार अंश समात सब ही की।
भारत श्री रामायण जी की। कीरति कलित ललित सिया की। भारत श्री रामायण जी की।
कलिमल हरण विषय रस पीकी,
कलिमल हरण विषय रस पीकी।
सुभग सिंगार मुक्ति ज्योति की।
सुभग सिंगार मुक्ति ज्योति की।
हरणि रोग भव भूरि अमी की।
हरणि रोग भव भूरि अमी की।
तात मात सब विधि तुलसी की। आरती श्री रामायण जी की। कीरति कलित ललित सिया की।
भारत श्री रामायण जी की। कीरति कलित ललित सिया की। भारत श्री रामायण जी।
Jai Shri Ram. We are going to begin um, with Doha number 330. Sure. वामदेव अरुदेव ऋषि वाल्मीकि जाबाली आये मुनिवर निकर तब कौशिकादि तपसानि सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय। राम सिया राम जय जय राम राम सिया राम जय जय राम। दंड प्रणाम सब ही नृप कीन्हे पूजी सप्रेम बरासन दीन्हे चारी लक्ष वरधेनु मंगाई काम सुरभि सम शील सुहाई। सिया राम जय जय राम राम सिया राम जय जय राम। सब विधि सकल अलंकृत कीन्ही मुदित महिप मही देवन दीन्ही करत विनय बहु विधि नर नाहू लहेउ आजु जग जीवन लाहू। राम सिया राम जय जय राम राम सिया राम जय जय राम। पाई असीसु महीसु अनंदा, लिए बोली पुनि जाचक वृंदा। कनक बसन मणि हय गय स्यंदन, दिए भूजि रुचि रवि कुल नंदन। राम सिया राम, सिया राम जय जय राम। राम सिया राम, सिया राम जय जय राम। चले पढ़त गावत गुण गाथा, जय 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 दिन कर कुलनाथा। एहि विधि राम बिहाअ उछाहु, सकहि न बरनी सहस मुख जाऊ। राम सिया राम, सिया राम जय जय राम। राम सिया राम, सिया राम जय जय राम। बार बार कौशिक चरण शीस नाई कहराऊ, यह सब सुख मुनि राज तब, कृपा कटाक्ष प्रभाव। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय। अच्छा, so we are reading here that Vamadeva, Arudeva Rishi, Valmiki, Jabali. So a number of sages' names are being given here. Vamadev, and I think we explained Vamadev on the first day. I explained to you that it has a Vedic connotation, but there's also it is understood in the sense of the Ramcharitmanas as well. Arudeva Rishi, Valmiki, and Jabali. So Narad, Deva Rishi refers to Narad Muni. Deva Rishi refers to Narad Muni. Of course, there's Valmiki, who was the author of the Ramayan in Sanskrit. And then there's another sage called Jabali. Aye Munibara Dikara Taba, right? And there were many other wise thinkers who actually had spent their lives in prayer. And who were some of the others that were there? Kausikadi Tapasali, Kausik and Adi. So, see, Kausika is another name for Vishwamitra. So, Vishwamitra, who is one of the rishis, he is referred to as Kaushika because his ancestors, or he's a direct descendant of Kusha. So the word Kaushika means a descendant of Kusha. So the word Kausik in the Doha is actually a reference to Vishwamitra. So this Doha is saying to us that great sages like Vamadev, Narad, Valmiki, and Jabali arrived, along with Vishwamitra and many other wise thinkers. And who were these people? They are people who had spent their lives in prayer and meditation. So the arrival of these sages at the wedding of Sri Ram and Sita is not just about a ceremonial formality. Actually, it marks the union of spiritual authority and social responsibility. See, when people like Vashishtha, Vishwamitra, and Valmiki enter the pavilion, they enter the wedding pavilion, they are bringing more than just their presence over there. They are actually bringing the weight of their austere devotion, their tapas, and they are coming to sanctify the union between Sri Ram and Mother Sita. So I've said before, and I'm sure others would have told you this as well, that a wedding is not merely a contract. Wedding is actually a sanskar. It is a purifying rite. When we have holy people, actually, when we have worthy holy people who are present at a wedding, then it actually serves several purposes. First, as I've already said, their presence, the worthy holy people that are present at the wedding, actually helps to sanctify the union, because such holy people, such sages, are actually repositories of divine energy. They carry a lot of divine energy with them. And so when they are present at a wedding, they actually are going to transform what is a social gathering into a spiritual event. And they are actually going to, through their divine energy, they're going to ensure that the life of the couple begins with high vibrational energy. Of course, they also are the sakshi, they are witnesses. So we know that Agni, fire, is the primary witness in a wedding. The sages actually become the human bridge to that divine, to the divine. So their approval actually means that the marriage is aligned with dharma, it's aligned with righteousness. And then what else do sages do? They actually represent wisdom. So their presence, by them being present, they are actually suggesting, uh, or it suggests that the household being formed will be guided by intellect, it will be guided by ethics rather than just worldly desires. So this is what the presence of worthy holy people does at a wedding. Now, the the verse obviously specifically mentions names. It gives you names like Valmiki, Jabali, etc. Right? And these people, how are they defined? What defines them? They are defined by their tapas, their tapa, by their meditation and their prayer. They are known because of their meditation, because of their prayer. And we need to understand there's a very big difference between somebody who is a fake or a transactional priest and a true seeker. See, a true seeker, people like Valmiki and Jabali, they have what we call uh, Sankalpa Shakti. Sankalpa Shakti means willpower. See, and how do they get this? They get this because they are constantly in prayer. So, how does one get willpower? You get willpower by being constantly in prayer. And when such a person who has Sankalpa Shakti blesses a couple, then the blessing is thought to manifest. It gives the blessing like kind of takes life. Why? Because such a person, such a sage, his or her speech is aligned with satya, it's aligned with truth. And remember that the so-called fake holy person, because we have many of those, they are just out trying to get fame or wealth. But a true sage like Valmiki or Jabali, they are what we call nishkam, they are desireless. And therefore their blessings are pure. Why? Because they are giving blessings not because they want something in return, but because for them it is a selfless act of grace. And then these spiritual people, these holy people serve as mirrors, they act as mirrors. So what their presence actually does is it humbles us. It humbles our ego, Because here you have powerful people like Dashrath and Janak. And when we bring these kinds of holy people in the presence of people like Dashrath and Janak and everybody else, it reminds everybody that whatever power they have is temporary. It is secondary to the spiritual realization. So, acknowledging anybody who is versed in Shastras, who is versed in scriptures, is not just about worshipping that individual. It's about respecting knowledge. It's about respecting the lineage of knowledge. So, sages are living libraries. They carry with them ancient wisdom. When we respect them, it ensures that the Vedas and the Upanishads are passed down accurately. When somebody like Janak, who is a householder, prostrates before the sages, it shows that even the highest worldly authority is subject to moral and spiritual law. Right? And when we recognize a true scholar of scripture, then it requires that the observer to develop their own sense of vivek. So each one of us, when we are recognizing these scholars, we are also developing our own vivek, our own powers of discrimination. And by honoring such masters, such people who have mastered the scriptures, it means that as a society, we value depth, we value discipline, we value intellectual rigor rather than being superficial individuals. And you notice that the verse uses the word tapasali. It says there, Aye Munivara Nikarataba Kausikadi Tapasali. So the word tapasali means abode of penance. Right? So it means that these sages who are mentioned here, they don't just read books. Their souls are actually disciplined. And so their presence at the wedding of Sri Ram and Mother Sita, who himself, or Sri Ramchandraji is an embodiment of, who themselves are embodiments of Dharma, is actually a cosmic stamp of approval. Then it says, Danda Pranama Sabahin Ripakin hai. So King Dashrath bowed down to all the holy sages. Puji Saprema Barasana Din hai. He showed them great love and respect, and Barasana Din hai, he gave them seats, appropriate seats. He gave them comfortable places to sit in. Chari Lacha Bharadenhu Magai. Then what did he do? He ordered 400,000 top quality cows. Kama Surabhi Samasil Sohai. And they were not just ordinary cows, they were Surabhi. Surabhi means they were wish granting divine cows. Sabavidi Sakala Alankrita Keenhi. And he didn't just order these cows. He said that these cows should be alankrita. They should be decorated beautifully with ornaments. Mudita Mahipa. Mahipa means the king. The king was Mudita. He had a big smile on his face. He was absolutely happy. Mahi Devana Dinhi. As he gifted them all, all these 400,000 top quality cows with their beautifully decorated ornaments, he gifted them to the wise priests and the Brahmins. And how did he do it? He did it mudita. He did it with a big smile on his face. Karata Vinay Bahu Vidhi Naranahu. The king then spoke very humbly to them. And what did he say? He said, Laheu Aju Jaga Jivana Lahu. Today I feel like my life is finally completed. I have gained the true reward of being born. So he considers it his most uh, good fortune that he has this opportunity to do this kind of gifting. Pai Asis Mahisu Ananda. So Pai Asis, after getting the blessings from the priests, Liye Boli Puni Jajaka Brinda, the happy king, called over all the other people who were in need or asking for help. So they were not only giving the Brahmins, the priests, but there were lots of other people who were in need, who had shortages in their life. And what did he do? Kanaka Basana Mani Haya Gaya Syandana. Dhiye Bhuji Ruchi Ravi Kula Nandana. So Dashrath is referred to as Ravi Kula Nandan, the pride of the solar dynasty. So Ravi Kula Nandan refers to Dashrath. So he's the pride of the solar dynasty. And what did he do? Kanaka, gold, basana, clothes, money, jewels, haya, horses, daya, elephants, syandan, chariots. So he gave out all these different kinds of things. He did not just hand them out randomly. Diye puji, ruchi. He asked them what they actually wanted first. So, according to their ruchi, according to what they wanted, he gave them. If they needed gold, he gave them gold. If they needed clothes, he gave them clothes. If they needed a horse, he gave them that. So he didn't just randomly give out anything. Chale parat gavat gunagatha. And as they left, chale, as the people left, gavat gunagatha, they sang songs of praise and cheered. And what did they say? Jai, 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 Dinakara Kulanatha. Victory, Jai, Jai, Jai. Victory to who? Dinakar. Dinkar means the sun. That which makes day, Dinakar. That which makes the day is the sun. When the sun comes out, day starts. So, victory to who? Dinakar Kulanatha, the Lord of the sun family. Ehi Vidi Rama Bihahu Uchahu. And in this way, the excitement of Ram's wedding was so huge, Saka in a Bharani Sahasamukha Jao, that even someone with 1,000 mouths, Sahasamukha means 1,000 mouths, Saka in a Bharani, they cannot fully describe how amazing this wedding was. Now let's deliberate a little bit on Dashrath's generosity. He gave a lot of things, right? Actually, this these verses that we've just explained, they actually serve as a master class of what is dharma driven philanthropy. This is not ostentation, it is not showing off, it was not a display of power, it was an overflow of a father's joy. Why? Because the text we noted earlier on, it says Dashrath gave because he was mudita, he was overjoyed. See, in Vedic philosophy, in Sanatan philosophy, true giving, dan, should come from what we refer to as purnatva. It must come from fullness. It's not a transaction. He was not buying blessings. It says, Lahe u aaj jaga jeevana lahu. Today my life has been complete. So you can see it's not about him buying blessings. Right? It was because of his son's marriages that he was giving this. There was no regret in what he was doing. He gave happily with no regrets. See, Bhagavad Gita is very clear when it tells us that giving with regret, when we give dan and we regret what we did, that is considered to be rajasic or is considered to be tamasic. Here, Dashrath's giving is sattvic, it's pure, it's light, and it's free from the pain of parting with his wealth. He's not getting pained by the fact that he's giving away things. Then they use the word kama surabhi. I spoke about surabhi just now. So in that era, in the era in which Dashrath lived, the cow was a source of sustenance. It was a source of fuel. it represented ritual purity. So when Dashrath gave cows, the cows which are being described as gentle and amazing, like Kamadhenu, the wish-yielding cow, what he was doing was that he was making sure that the people who were receiving this will have a lifelong source of livelihood. And then he decorated the cows. Sakala alankrita kinhi. He decorated them. That means he respected the person who was receiving these things. He did not just hand over scraps, he handed over beauty. And he was he was showing empathy to these people. Right? It says Diye Bhuji Ruchi Ravi Kula Nandan. He gave after understanding their interests and their needs. So it's not about a one size fits all donation. He took time to ask each person there what it is they actually required. Somebody, as I told you, wanted a horse for travel. He gave them that. Somebody maybe wanted gold because they had to pay off a debt. He gave them that. Somebody needed clothes because clothes dignify us. So he gave them clothes. And he erased any form of superiority in the giving situation by asking each person their preference. He's removing any kind of situation where he might be depicted as a mighty king and they are the poor beggars. So he turned this act of giving, he made it into a conversation between two humans. And then, of course, it says, Danda pranama sabha hi nripakin hai. Danda pranama sabha hi nripakin hai. He, despite being the emperor of Ayodhya, he actually did pranam, danda pranam. He fell down like a stick in front of them. It was a full body prostration in front of the sages. And when he gave them barasana, when he gave them the best seats, right, it's showing us that wisdom sits higher than wealth. That's what he's showing us. You treasure wisdom more than you treasure wealth. And he's telling the priests that their presence and their ability, and his ability rather, to give are what makes his life successful. Right? So the excitement was so huge that even someone with 1,000 mouths could not fully describe it. We saw this earlier, right? So this conclusion there reminds us that when giving is done with purity, the positive energy that is created becomes infinite. It's endless, and it is actually something that is beyond the reach of language. And then the Doha says, "Bar bar kausika charana si sunai kaharao." Bar bar, over and over again, Dashrath, Kausik. Kausik again refers to Vishwamitra. He fell at the feet of Vishwamitra. Yah sab sukhu buni raja tava. He says to him, he says, Holy sir, all this happiness, yah sab sukha muni raj, Lord, sage, all this happiness and success, tava kripa katacha pasahu, is only because you look kindly upon me. So, this doha that we just translated here, in this, we can see the spiritual maturity that Dashrath has. See, as I told you, Dashrath is the emperor. He's not a king, he's an emperor of the most powerful kingdom. Yet he identifies what the root cause of his joy is. What is the thing that brought him joy? Not his wealth, not his lineage, not his own effort. He says it is the kripa katacha, the compassionate glance of his guru that brought him happiness and success. So this is a very, very profound moment for all of us here to learn something from an emperor like Dashrath. The interaction is actually very different to the modern day transactional view of spiritual guidance. It actually highlights the true nature of a priest patron relationship, of a guru shishya relationship, of a relationship between the Pandit and the Yajman. See, Dashrath is repeatedly bowing down in front of Vishwamitra. He's telling us that he does not view Vishwamitra as a mere officiant who was hired to perform a ritual. He's not treating him as a hired help. Because you see, today, in our modern day, many of us treat the Pandit as a service provider. We think of him as someone who performs a ceremony, he gets a fee, and then he's forgotten. Dashrath recognizes that the wedding of his four sons is the result of Vishwamitra's strategic and spiritual direction. He hasn't forgotten that. See, it was Vishwamitra who took Sri Ram and Lakshman to protect his yagya. Then from there, he led them to Janakpur. Then he facilitated the breaking of the bow. So Dashrath is acknowledging that without Vishwamitra's vision, the king's power actually would have remained dormant. Nothing. He would have been nothing. So there's also this fallacy that exists these days that it is the priest's duty to come and do my puja. It's the priest's duty to come and do the wedding. The mindset that a priest has an obligation to serve without needing recognition is a misunderstanding of seva. It means we haven't understood what seva means. There's a difference between gratitude and entitlement. When a true sage performs service as an offering to the divine, then the recipient, the householder who has engaged the services of that priest, has a moral obligation to practice kritagyata, gratitude. So Dashrath specifically credits the success, Shubha Sukha, to the sage. He acknowledges that the years of tapas, the years of austerity and studying and accumulation of knowledge and the scriptural mastery that Vishwamitra brought to the table, he's acknowledging all these things. He's treating the priest's knowledge as high level expertise, which he thinks, who knows, deserves the highest honor, not some low level service to be taken for granted. And Dashrath uses the word uh, tashavu, grace, prasad. He uses the word prasad. And this is so usually people look to the king for grace. But here the king admits that he is a beggar at the feet of the sage. And by saying to Vishwamitra that your kindly look made this happen, Dashrath is acknowledging that a true priest does not just recite mantras, they also channel divine energy. So their presence changes the destiny of the house. So the priest also has to live up to the moment. You don't just go there and recite mantras and disappear. You must channel divine energy so that there's a change in the destiny of the house in which puja is being done. So Dashrath teaches us here that greatness is measured by how we treat those that could normally be ignored. He had already given the gifts and the cows. He did not have to bow repeatedly or credit the sage. He could have said, no, I gave the Pandit the money. That's it. Nothing else for me to do. No. He did so because he understood that while money can buy the materials for a wedding, only the guidance of a realized soul can ensure the sanctity and the long term success of the union. So, this is a hallmark of this Raghukul, this solar dynasty, He had conquered the world with swords. That's why he became the emperor. But he conquered his own ego at the feet of his teachers. So now we're going to read the next set of chopais, and then we will uh, do an explanation of that. Acha? So you follow on your screen. जनक सनेहु सीलो कर तूती नृप सब भांति सराह विभूति दिन उठी विदा अवधपति मांगा राखहि जनकु सहित अनुरागा नित नूतन आदरु अधिकाई दिन प्रति सहस भांति पहुनाई नित नव नगर आनंद उछाहु दशरथ गवनु सोहाई न काहू बहुत दिवस बीते एहि भांति जनु सनेह रजु बंधे बराती कौशिक सतानंद तब जाई कहा विदेह नृपति समुझाई अब दशरथ कह आय सुदेहु यद्यपि छाड़ी न सकहु सनेहु भले ही नाथ कह सचिव बुलाए कही जय जीव सीस तिन्ह पाए अवदनाथ चाहत चलन भीतर करहु जनाऊ भय प्रेम बस सचिव सुनी विप्र सभा सदराहु सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय. So जनक सनेहु सीलु करतूती. So Dashrath could not stop praising the love that Janak was showering upon them. Nripasabha bhati saraha vibhuti. He was Dashrath was so appreciative of Janak's love, Janak's kind nature, and the incredible way in which he hosted everyone. So Janak was the perfect host. Dina uthi bida avadhapati manga. Dina uthi, every morning when Dashrath woke up, vida avadhapati manga. Avadhapati means Dashrath. The lord of Awadh, of Ayodhya, is Dashrath. So avadhapati manga. Every morning when he woke up, he used to get permission, he used to go and ask for permission from Janak that now you should allow us to head back home. Rakhahi Janaku Sahita Anuraga. But every time that he went, Janak would lovingly, Anuraga, with love, he would insist that they must stay for just a little longer. So he was not giving them the permission to leave. Nitanutana Adaru Adhikai. Every single day, Nitanutana, every day, Adaru Adhikai. The respect and the hospitality grew. It became even better. Dina Prati Sahasa Bhati Pahunai. And Janak found new ways to treat his guests like royalty. So, if a person comes to my home, for 3 days, I'll go out of my way to show my respect and hospitality to that person. By the fourth or fifth day, my hospitality starts to fade. I'm now hoping when this person is going to leave. And therefore, I reduce the amount of hospitality and love that I'm showing, giving a message to my visitor that, you know what, now it's time for you to leave. Here it's the opposite. As each day is increasing, the hospitality from the side of Janak is getting even better and better. And more he's treating them like royalty. Nitanava Nagara Ananda Uchahu. Nitanava Nagar, the entire Nagar, the entire city was Ananda Uchao, was in a constant state of celebration. Dasarat, the governor, Sohai Nakao. And nobody in the city itself liked the idea of Dashrath and the wedding party leaving. Even they didn't want him to leave. Bahut divas beete ehi bhati. In this way, many days passed. Janu saneha raju bandhe barati. It felt like the entire wedding party was tied down, not by ropes, but by the bonds of love. The love was so much, they felt like they were being tied back and kept back in Janakpur. Kausik Satanand Tabai. Then, finally, the sages Vishwamitra, Kausik, and Satanand. So Vishwamitra is on the side of Dashrath, Satanand is on the side of Janak. They went to King Janak and Kaha, they said to him, Videha Nripahi Samujai. They sat him down and they explained to him that it was time to move on. He said, Abba Dasaratha Kaha Ayasu Deho. Yadyapi Chari na Sakahu Saneo. Even though Yadyapi, I know it is hard, na Sakahu Saneo, because you love them so much. He says, Abba Dasaratha Kaha Ayasu Dehu. You have to give Dashrath permission to leave now. भले ही नाथ कही सचिव बुलाए. And he said, Bhale, he says, all right, holy sir. And what did he do? Sachiva bulaye. He called his ministers. And he said, Kahi jaya jeev si satin hanaye. And then who arrived immediately and bowing and wishing the king a long life. So, in this scene here, Janak demonstrates what spiritual surrender is. He's in demonstrating to us intellectual humility. See, Janak is a Rajarshi. Rajarshi means he is a king who is also a sage. So Janak himself possessed immense wisdom. That's why he was not just called a Raja, he was called a Rajarshi. He was a king who was a sage. A sage is one who has lots of wisdom, who has studied the scriptures. Yet he immediately gave in to the guidance of Vishwamitra and Shatanand. His promptness, the prompt way in which he acted, is actually a blueprint for all of us who are leaders, for all of us who are householders, on how we should interact with spiritual authority. See, the sages acknowledge that they acknowledge Janak's emotional state. They say, Jadapi Hari Nasakahu Sanehu, even though you cannot bear to leave this love. They understand that. Because what happens is, you see, the sages are serving an objective role over here. They are like a compass that is not allowing the feelings to overshadow it. Because when we are blinded by deep emotion, in this case, Janak is blinded by the love for his daughters and his new sons-in-law. Then our judgment becomes clouded. When we are blinded by deep emotion, we become clouded. So Janak recognizes that the sages are not emotionally entangled in the same way as he is. And he trusts their perspective. He considers it to be, as I said, an objective compass. They are pointing him towards dharma. They are pointing him towards duty. When his own heart is heavy with sneha, it's heavy with attachment. And he says, Bhale hi nath. Bhale hi nath means very well, my lord. He doesn't say if, my lord. He doesn't say but, my lord. He doesn't say let me think about it. He immediately says very well, my lord. See, he's a king. He could have argued with them. He could have said, I am the host. I decide when the party ends. Or my daughters are not ready. He could have said that. But his immediate compliance, immediately agreeing with the sages, is telling us that he has no ego that's driving him to be the final decision maker, especially when he is in the presence of such realized souls like Vishwamitra and Shatanand. And he has confidence in them, right? So the only time we will act promptly, like the way in which Janak acted here, is when we have 100% confidence in the person that's giving us the advice. So Janak knows that Vishwamitra has no hidden agenda. He knows that Shatanand has no hidden agenda. He knows that their only goal is to bring about balance, cosmic balance. And so they both represent the proper conduct of the solar and the lunar dynasty. So Vishwamitra represents the solar dynasty, Shatanand represents the lunar dynasty. So the moment the two sages gave their word, Janak calls his ministers. It says Sachiva Bolaye. Sachiva means his ministers. Bolaye, he called them. Now, this shows us what a healthy organization Janak was running. The sages provided the vision, the why and the when. The ministers provide the execution, the how. So by promptly or by acting promptly, Janak is respecting the muhurta, he's respecting the auspicious timing, he's respecting the dignity of Dashrath. He understands that delaying a guest's departure, once the purpose is served, will actually be a breach of etiquette. So, in modern life, we often equate questioning everything with intelligence. However, the Ramcharitmanas is suggesting to us that what is discernment? Discernment is knowing who to trust, and once that trust is established, promptness is the highest form of respect. So Janak's silence, his immediate actions speak louder than any long-winded speech of gratitude could. So a king rules the land, but a sage rules the king's conscience. And when the conscience speaks, the king must act without delay. Avadhanat chahat chalana. So the king of Ayodhya wants to leave. What happens? Janak is saying this to the ministers. Remember, he called the ministers. He called them and he says, Avadhanat chahat chalana. The king of Ayodhya wants to leave. Bhitar karahu janau. Please go inside and let the queens know. Bhaye prema basa sachiva suni. Hearing the news of the departure, Vipra Sabha Samadara, everyone, the ministers, the priests, and the king himself got very emotional. So, यहाँ पर हम आज का पाठ विश्राम करते हैं. Let us do the विसर्जन. कथा विसर्जन होता है, सुनो वीर हनुमान, आसन को प्रभु जाइए, सिया सखा सहित भगवान सियावर रामचंद्र की जय. पवन सुत हनुमान की जय. उमापति महादेव की जय. We'll now have the Ram Chalisa, which will be followed by the Arti and the Visarjan.
नीलाम्बुज श्यामल कोमलिङ्गम् सीता समारुपिति वामभागम् पानो महासायक चारुचापम् नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथम्. ध्यान धरे जो कोई, तासम भक्त और नहीं होई। ध्यान धरे शिव जी मन माही, ब्रह्मा इंद्र पार नहीं पाए। जय 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 रघुनाथ कृपाला, सदा करो संतन प्रतिपाला। दूत तुम्हारे वीर हनुमाना, जासु प्रभावती हूँ पुर जाना। तब भुजदंड प्रचंड कृपाला, रावण मारी सुरन प्रतिपाला। तुम आनाथ के नाथ गोसाई, दीनन के हो सदा सहाई। ब्रह्मा दिख तब पार न पावे, सदा ईश तुम्हरो यश गावे। चारों वेद भरत है साखी, तुम भक्तन की लज्जा राखी। गुण गावत शारद मन माही, सुरपतिता को पार न पाही। तासम धन्य और नहीं होई। राम नाम है अपरंपारा, चारों वेद जही पुकारा। गणपति नाम तुम्हारो लीनो, तिनको प्रथम पूजे तुम कीन्हो। शेष रतत नित नाम तुम्हारा, मही को भार शीश पर धारा। फूल समान रहत सोहारा, पवना करो तुम्हारो पारा। भरत नाम तुम्हरो उर्धारो, तासो कबहु नरन में हारो। नाम शत्रुघ्न हृदय प्रकाशा, सुमिरत होत शत्रु कर नाशा। लक्ष्मण तुम्हारे आज्ञाकारी, सदा करत संतन रखवारी। ताते रन जीते नहीं कोई, युद्ध जुड़े यमहू की होई। महालक्ष्मी घर अवतारा, सब विधि करत पाप को चारा। सीता नाम पुनीता गायो, भुवनेश्वरी भई प्रभव दिखायो। घट सो प्रकट भय सो आई, जाको देखते चंद्र लजाई। सो सुमिरे नित पाव पलो तत, नवोनिधि चरणन में लोटत। सिद्धि आधार मंगलकारी, सो तुम पर जवे तुम ही बनाई, इच्छा ते को तिन संसार, रचत न लागत फल की वारा। जो तुम्हारे चरणन चित लावे, ताको मुक्ति अवश्य हो जावे। जय 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 प्रभु ज्योत स्वरूपा, निर्गुण ब्रह्म अखंड अनूपा। सत्य सत्य सत्ये व्रत स्वामी, सत्य सनातन अंतर्यामी। सत्य भजन तुमरो जो गावे, सो निश्चय चरणन फल पावे। सत्य शपथ गौरी पत की नहीं, तुमने भक्ति सब सिद्ध दीन। सुनो राम तुम तात हमारे, तुम ही भरत कुल पूज्य प्रचारे। तुम ही देव कुल देव हमारे, तुम गुरुदेव प्राण के प्यारे। जो कुछ हो सो तुम ही राजा, जय 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 प्रभु राखो लाजा। राम आत्मा पोषण हारे, जय 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 दशरथ के दुलारे। ज्ञान दे दो ज्ञान स्वरूपा, नमो नमो जय जगपति भूपा। धन्य धन्य तुम धन्य प्रताप, नाम तुम्हार हरत संतापा। सत्य शुद्ध देवन मुख गाया, बजी दुंदुबी शंख बजाया। सत्य सत्य तुम सत्य सनातन, तुम ही हो हमारे तन मन धन। या को पाठ करे जो कोई, ज्ञान प्रकट ताके उड़ होई। अवगामन नमिते तिहि केरा, सत्य वचन माने शिव मेरा। और आसमन में जो होई, मन वांछित फल पावे सोई। तीनों काल ध्यान जो ल्यावे, तुलसी दल और फूल चढ़ावे। साग पत्र सो भोग लगावे, सोनर सकल सीधिता पावे। अंत समय रघुबरपुर जाए, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। श्री हरिदास कहे अरु गावे, सोवे कुंत धाम को जावे। 7 दिवस जो नीम कर, पाठ करे चित लाए। हरिदास हरि कृपा से, अवश्य भक्त को पाए। राम चालीसा जो पढ़े, राम चरण चित लाए, जो इच्छा मन में करे, सकल सिद्धि हो जाए।
ॐ कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। मङ्गलं भगवान् विष्णु मङ्गलं गरुडध्वज मङ्गलं पुण्डरीकाक्ष मङ्गलाय तनोहरि सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते। ॐ यानि कानि च पापानि जन्मान्तरकृतानि च तानि तानि विनश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे। ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु, सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय। ॐ पूर्णमिदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ अपराधः सहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया, दासो ह्यमिति मामत्व क्षमस्व परमेश्वर। आवाहनं न जानामि न जानामि विसर्जनं, पूजां चैव न जानामि क्षमस्व परमेश्वर। अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम, तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष त्वां परमेश्वर। बोलिए विघ्नहर्ता गणेश भगवान की जय। श्री राधे कृष्ण भगवान की जय। श्री शिव शंकर भगवान पार्वती माता की जय। श्री सीतारामचंद्र भगवान की जय। श्री लक्ष्मण जी की जय। श्री बजरंग बली महावीर स्वामी की जय। जग जगनी गौरी दुर्गा काली लक्ष्मी सरस्वती माता की जय। श्री लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान की जय। सनातन धर्म की जय। सब पितर देव की जय। ओम नमः पार्वती पतये, हर हर महादेव हर। जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे श्याम। जय सिया राम।